It is Saturday, February 4th, 2023. It's just after noon on the East Coast, but it is the weekend. And I feel like it's a really important time to talk about Eagle Plains Resources. To be blunt, EPL has been fairly stagnant, kind of boring stock for the last couple of years, trading around 15, 16, 17 cents for much of this time. And then all of a sudden, look at what has happened in the last couple of months. EPL has gone from 19 cents at the start of the year to 27 cents as of Friday's close. And you can see the volume really starting to perk up in recent months. So something's happening. Something's happening. What is happening exactly? Before I get into that, let's pull this chart out a little bit. Let's go to a 5-year weekly chart and look at this. This is what I was talking about. To be blunt, kind of just biding its time for most of 2020 and 2021 and 2022, but building a very strong rectangular base pattern from which it has broken out from quite clearly in the last couple of months. And you can say, well, why is it breaking out? Why are we at multi-year highs on EPL? What's happening? Well, first, it's a project generator. So, Eagle Plains has been around for 30 years, and Tim Termundi is the founder and CEO. He's an explorationist, really shrewd guy, understands the junior mining business very well. And he's built a business that, quite frankly, works, and it's generated shareholder value over the long run. You can see that the insiders management have over 20%, investment in the company. So they're fully vested, got skin in the game, and aligned with shareholders. The Termundi family has 11 million shares. And you can even see that Teck, much larger mining company, is on the shareholder registry with 4.2 million share position. But perhaps even more importantly is that, Eagle Plains is a well-funded company in a sector where so many companies are struggling to raise capital, having to go back to the market over and over again. EPL is in a whole different um, realm of the business. They don't go back to the market very often. They've only done a few financings, strategically placed over the last several years, usually very small financings with strong-handed investors that aren't going to just dump the stock at the 4-month mark. Company has about, call it 10 million cash in the treasury, about $800,000 in equity investments in other companies. And then real estate. They own their own real estate in Cranbrook, BC. That's their backyard. And we're going to get into a little bit more about their backyard later in this video. But put it all together, and that adds up to almost $12 million of the foundation of the net asset value of the company. And then if we scroll over to, where is it? This slide from Tim's recent presentation at Metals Investor Forum, you can see that $1 million a year in net income. Hold on. This is a junior mining company. They actually have a profitable business model. So this is a different kind of beast in junior mining. Eagle Plains does it different than a typical junior mining company. And they've also paid out dividends through spinouts to shareholders over the years. The total value of those dividends, if you add it all up, is about $100 million. So company's market cap at 27 cents a share is just under 30 million Canadian today. But look, they've generated significant value well above the company's current market valuation throughout its 30-year history. And again, that foundation of value in terms of cash and equity investments and real estate. So, you know, probably half of the company's current valuation is just this, right? And then toss in the fact that they're revenue generating, they actually generate profits through their business model. And that's nice. That's very nice icing on the cake. But let's go into why I think EPL, which is the symbol on the TSX Venture, is really an actionable opportunity right now. And I never want to encourage anybody to chase a stock, um, have fear of missing out, FOMO as we call it. I'm not wanting to encourage any of that, but sometimes you have to highlight something that looks like a really special opportunity that has the potential to unlock value from 30 years of hard work that Tim and the Eagle Plains team has built over the years. So one of the big catalysts for EPL, and I think a good explanation for some of the recent buying, probably not all of it, but some of it, is this Eagle Plains royalties spin out that's coming. So um, Tim and his team have built basically 70 royalties across Western Canada over the last 30 years. And in the current EPL, business model, that the value of these royalties isn't really being unlocked. I mean, you can just see it in the share price trading throughout 2021 and 2022. The royalties weren't really being valued by the market. People weren't really paying attention to them. So unlocking them via royalty company spinout makes a lot of sense. So that's happening. It's actually happening very soon. So the record date, probably early March, so about a month from now. So you have to own EPL shares by the record date in order to get the royalty company shares as a dividend. And then the royalty company shares will begin trading in April on the CSE. So that's a significant near term catalyst. And the royalty spinout really could be quite valuable. I don't know what the valuation is going to be exactly. I don't know how the market's going to trade it when it comes trading in April, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty valuable, probably more than $10 million market cap if I had to guess. Um, the flagship royalties, the Ormac royalties, so Banyan Gold. Those who followed me and read my work over the years definitely know about Banyan Gold, and that's a $125 million market cap company. And Ormac is their flagship project, on its way to an updated resource in middle of this year. It should be about 6 to 7 million ounces for Ormac. And Eagle Plains has a significant package of royalties on the Ormac claim. So you can watch this video and learn about it in detail. But I'll just simply say that there's potential for a lot of upside, especially as Banyan carries out more drilling in 2023 and we get the resource update in the middle of this year. You can see here on this slide, the airstrip deposit is basically fully covered by the EPL royalties, including a 2% royalty on a big chunk of it. And about half of Powerline is also covered by the EPL royalties. And there's a big chunk of land to the north, which is actually very prospective for new potential, discoveries on the way to Hecla's, Keno Hill deposit, and Victoria Gold's operating mine, which is on its way to producing 200,000 ounces of gold per annum, largest gold mine in the history of the Yukon. So this is a great set of royalty assets on Banyan's project, which continues to grow. Banyan's spending a lot of money to continue to expand the Ormac resources, and that will continue to benefit the value of this set of royalties that EPL has and that the Eagle Plains Royalty Company will will have as its flagship asset. So that's a big catalyst. And then obviously the fact that EPL has a profitable business model as a contractor, been operating since 2003, 10 full-time employees, and profits of up to $2 million a year. But you can see um, that Tim says, it averages about $1 million a year profit. So, I mean, that in itself is a solid foundation for a $25 to $30 million market cap company. Seems pretty attractive to me. But then we get into maybe the number one catalyst, the potential number one catalyst is the next phase of drilling at Eagle Plains Vulcan project in BC. So Vulcan is 100% owned by Eagle Plains. They did some drilling at Vulcan last year, and of particular note was this hole number 4. So right here, they intercepted, mineralization and alteration in hole number 4, starting around 350 meters down hole, that strongly suggests that they are very close to a SEDEX vent. So the Sullivan Mine, which is about 30 kilometers away from Vulcan in the same area of BC, operated for nearly 100 years and produced roughly $50 billion worth of metals, lead, zinc, and silver, if we use today's prices. So it was a monster deposit, monster asset, certainly in today's context, where zinc and silver are certainly very valuable metals to have. But most importantly, this hole number 4 that Eagle Plains drilled at Vulcan in 2022, it intercepted the right age of rocks to be Sullivan time. And the geochemical signature was characteristic of a Sullivan type of SEDEX vent. They did some downhole geophysics on hole number 4, and it identified a prominent, geophysical anomaly 75 meters away at the exact same depth as the highest grade intervals in hole 4. This target's about 400, 500 meters, 4 to 500 meters depth. So this is very exciting. This is the anomaly here just to the southeast of hole 22 of 2022-04. So you can see this was the hole that brought a lot of excitement. Very consistent with SEDEX style, and suggests close proximity to a significant vent system. So this is the first order of business in June 2023 to drill this anomaly, drill 500-meter holes, and go from there. So there's definitely the potential. The current budget for the drill program in 2023 at Vulcan is 1.5 million Canadian, but that could definitely be expanded. And this presentation and this interview at the Metals Investor Forum, Tim basically says, based upon the first couple of holes this summer, we may expand it to 2 rigs. We have the financial ability to do that, and the drill contractors ready and lined up for that. So this is going to be a very exciting time for Eagle Plains, where you have this important royalty spin out that's 30 years in the making, that will unlock value for Eagle Plains shareholders in the very near future. And then drilling of this major target that is also more than 30 years in the making, because this is quite frankly something that Tim has been focused on hunting his whole life, another Sullivan. And Vulcan could very well be it. Obviously, it's going to require more drilling and more exploration work to confirm that. But there are definitely some good signs so far. The drilling at Sullivan will take about 2 weeks per hole, and obviously that can be expanded to 2 rigs very quickly if they like what they're seeing. So this is a very prospective time to be an Eagle Plains shareholder. A lot of catalysts lining up here, and the chart is telling you telling everybody that something's happening here. Um, and sometimes when these stocks that are so tightly held, that have been under the radar for so long, break out from these broad bases, they can move higher than many think they can. There's a saying in technical analysis that the bigger the base, the higher into space. And when I hear that and I look at the EPL weekly chart, it sure rings true. The bigger the base, the higher into space. Quite a weekly candlestick formed last week, and a great start to the year for EPL. Again, I don't advise anybody chasing any stock due to FOMO, but Eagle Plains is definitely one to put on your radar and pay attention to here in 2023. I am an Eagle Plains shareholder. I also have some warrants, and I am quite optimistic for what this year has in store for us. Thank you for your time and attention to this video, and have a great weekend.